Spoiler alert. So if you don't like spoilers, whoa, watch out. Please click away. Who on ever Key and Peele? Key and Peele. These two guys never play themselves. Here they are on stage presenting. Wait a second. These guys aren't Key and Peele. That's the police interrogator with a lot of evidence that Gunrack murdered Darnell Simmons. And that's Gunrack, who definitely didn't do that.
I killed Darnell, yeah, I shot him with my knife.
Or is that actually
Xmas Jackson flaxin' waxin'?
And hold the phone. That interrogator might actually be
Javaris and Lamar.
Regardless, they both bear a striking resemblance to
Heinrich Leroy Heimer.
and
Baron Helmut Schnitzel Nazi.
hold on just a second. Play that back.
Schnitzel Nazi.
That accent. That sounds like Key.
Yep.
Or maybe it's more like this dude visiting a town. And he looks like Peele.
Be quiet while I sing.
Peele.
Seriously. Shut the f up.
Oh, look, it's Peele. And look, it's Key. Ladies and gentlefolk, I present J. Ordian Peele.
Present.
And Keegan-Michael.
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be.
Keegan-Michael.
Son of a bitch.
Keegan-Michael Key.
That's better. Thank you.
Who act drastically different. He plays a lot of serious characters, meanwhile Peele also does the same thing. But that doesn't mean they don't get silly now and then and now, here and there and here. Pretty much every character they play is significantly different from the last. In this sketch, Key's all like,
We're gonna draxx and sklounst.
but then in another he's all like,
Papi is what you're going to have, okay?
and in another Peele is,
President of the company.
but then in another he's a janitor who wants people to stay away from the bagels because the That's right, so get away from the bagels. Not to mention the different ethnicities they play. There's French, German, Middle Eastern, Albanian, Macedonian, Mexican, Latino, Indian, Black, White, Transylvanian. Who always be looking so fresh and so clean, even when they're not. Key and Peele do, but they're merely the canvas. It's the hair, makeup, and costume team at Comedy Central who are the artists, painting Key and Peele with the acrylics of dope clothes, dope froze, and dope skin that glows. And I don't think they get enough credit for all the hard work every single episode. Let's look at Key. He's someone who doesn't have a lot of hair on his head because he's bald. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, he rocks it. But when you're watching the show, that totally slips your mind. And you're just subconsciously thinking to yourself, man, that dude's got some nice hair. Who's his barber? What do I ask for? And how do I get him to do that for me? Dang, I need me a list of the products he'd be using because that hair is fire. Is that even physically possible? Is that even possible physically? That hair is so real. That is real hair on his real head. And it's looking
NOOICE.
They obviously have real-life magicians working at Comedy Central, and they're straight up casting spells over there. Petrificus, looking frickin' goodicus. Aloha, give me some more, dis. Love references. Key and Peele drop references all day, every week of the month. Like Les Miserables, 007, Inglourious Bastards, The Usual Suspects, Saw, Hell's Kitchen, Of Mice and Men, Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars, The Shining, Family Matters, The Shining again, Goodfellas, I wanna say Vikings? Yeah, close enough. Who don't know how to surprise you? Key and Peele don't, because they do know how to surprise you. They're experts at subverting your expectations. This sketch starts off with two male human beings checking out a lady at a park, and you might be thinking, oh, that's just two male human beings checking out a lady at a park. But one of them is not a male human being. But actually, there's some other kind of being, and not the human kind. So if you thought that, you'd be wrong. And in this one, Key is trying to fool Peele into thinking the boss is really in the office, when in reality, the boss isn't in the office. Just a mop. It's just a mop. And that's when the mop starts moving and you realize that's actually the boss. See? Subversion of expectation. Who got skills? Key and Peele are good at doing things, and they incorporate those things into their sketches. Here we can see Peele singing in the right key. Here we can see Key rapping with Peele on his right. And here they both are just scatting, improving, verbal sound effect making, and obviously acting. They're able to pull off so many iconic roles like MLK, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Andre 3000, Stan Lee, Steve Jobs.
Please stop comparing me to Steve Jobs.
Oh, my bad. Who stare intensely at things? Key and Peele look at a lot of things, and they make some interesting faces while doing so. Shocked faces, sad faces, mad faces, happy faces, confused faces, emotionless faces, and even sleepy faces. Who know how to pronounce words. Key and Peele know their accents, mostly stereotypical ones, ranging from French to German
You're being an idiot.
to British.
Oh, I'm thinking of
something in the material that's similar to something that's happened in your real life.
To African.
What the hell are you
To
doing?
Caucasian, dude.
You're gonna have to leave the area. There's been a disturbance.
To pirate, eh? Wait, no, that's a pirate. That's a Canadian pirate. To pirate, matey.
That's what gentlemen do.
To barbaric tribal grunting, which I'm also quite fluent in. Here he's saying, oh. In English, that translates to, What can you not stop binge watching? Key and Peele is like a sweet onion from holes. Every layer you peel back. There's another one just as good below it. It's like a hot fudge sundae and it tastes unbelievable. Who are like onions? As you can probably tell, I really like the onion metaphor, so I'm gonna use it again because you can't stop me, haha. Yes, Key and Peele are like an onion because the stories they tell have layers. They usually hint at bigger backgrounds for their characters, bigger histories between them, bigger story arcs encompassing them, even within such short episodes. Peele plays a frat boy in this one, aged maybe 20 to 40 years old. He made it to college, so must care about his education, but he's spending his free time getting branded instead of studying, so it's possible he doesn't care about his education and feels no pain. I take that back, he feels pain. And as he screams out in it, he notices the wrongly positioned fraternity sign upon his chest and becomes hesitant, looking upon his fellow fratmate with a look of uncertainty, showing that he realizes that the scar will be permanent and potentially affect how he's viewed by the rest of the fraternity, which could get him kicked out, or worse, expelled. Hold on, is that a on his chest?
You straight up got a on your chest.
Oh my god.